Hey, beauties. Hi, beauties. How we doing? Mike already trying to trip on us already tonight. Listen, we got to tell it to calm it on down, y'all. Calm it on down. Hold on, let me get this mic together. Hey, beauties. How we doing tonight? Can y'all hear me? I hope y'all can hear me tonight. Hello, hello. Hi, beauties. Hey, girl. Hey, hold on, my mic's still trying to tip. Let me get it together. I done position everything a little different, so it's acting a little funny. It needs to stop tripping on you, girl. Hold on, let me get this thing together. Is that right? No, hold on. I think the bottom part is like too heavy for the top. Let's see if this works. Okay, I got it, y'all. I got it. They work. They work. Okay. Hi, beauties. Happy day, y'all. Happy day. Y'all, today I came with my hair put up tonight. I don't think I need the wings hanging. But yeah, y'all. Happy day. Happy day. Y'all, I miss y'all. As y'all know. Hold on. Let me make sure y'all can hear me. Okay, y'all can hear me. Come on in, chat. Come on in, come on in. Hey, beauties. Happy freaking day, y'all. Happy Monday. Happy 4th. We all just had a 4th of July that just passed. Happy day to everybody. Welcome back to another Dear Me, I Am Me workshop live. Like, clap it up for us. Y'all already know how we do. I'm your host, Tashiana. I share honest moments, journaling, holistic wellness, guidance, and personal development to help you reconnect with yourself, build your self esteem, build self awareness, and most importantly, protect your peace, honey. That is what we are all about, okay? And if this is your first time in this space, hey girl, hey boo, how we doing? And I already know that sometimes we be having the brothers in here. So what's good with it, bro? We are so happy that you all are in this space. You know what I'm saying? So before we go ahead and get started, go ahead, introduce yourself in the chat, drop your mirrors in the chat. I want you guys to get very familiar with the mirror, okay? Very familiar with the mirror. Drop your mirrors in the chat so we can go ahead and welcome you. And let us know where you're coming in from because y'all already know we are in the ATL. All right, we are showing up in the A. Let us know where you're coming in from. Let me give you guys a little second. Yes, yes, yes. Come on in. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody. Come on in. Come on in. I'm so happy that y'all are here tonight. Listen, okay? I'm so happy. And special shout out to Dear Me, I Am Me community. Like, I see y'all up in here, okay? Thank you guys for joining us tonight, especially in the private chat. Shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for always showing up, okay? Sharing this space with us and also growing along with us every single week. We are super grateful to have you here. Okay, y'all already know this is the beginning for Dear Me, I Am Me. We are going to be taking it up each week, okay? Yes. So before we dive into tonight's live, okay, grab your journal, your Dear Me, I Am Me worksheet, and something to sip on tonight. Okay, y'all already know I have this spearmint and dandelion herbal tea. I have, because I have to be accountable, just like you guys have to be accountable, right? We also provide, like I said, an everyday reflection worksheet. That's going to be the first thing you guys are able to download. And then as you get into the Dear Me, I Am Me community, we have also provided you guys with every week's reflection. So as we are going on each of these lives online, you guys are provided with a worksheet before the live even begin. Okay. I give you guys like a hit up, like um at least like 2 or 3 days to go ahead and get into like your worksheet. That way, when you come to the live, you are already prepared. You know what I'm saying? So here is, I took my time out today, you guys, to go ahead and step into the Dear Me, I Am Me reflection worksheet. So here is tonight worksheet that we are going to be talking about. I know you guys already have this worksheet. So this is tonight worksheet that I know you guys already have. And if you don't, that's okay. That is okay, because I know that you may be a first timer in here and you have a busy schedule as well, right? Pull your journal out, girl. Just go ahead and pull your journal out. I'm going to be asking some questions along, and just follow along, write them down. You can put them in the chat if you are very comfortable with putting them in the chat and stuff or whatever. Or most importantly, these questions are for you, boo. Okay. So if these are some questions that you have to become face to face with, these are for you. You don't have to put them all the way in the chat. Okay. Like I said, these questions are for you. However, we have provided them for you. Okay. Because like I always say, you do not have to go at this by yourself. Okay. So before we jump into tonight's conversation about ACT, okay, we are on the second letter of GAP. Okay, before we get into ACT, can I be honest with y'all for a moment? For a little moment, can I be honest with you guys? Okay. So, as you guys know, like over the past few weeks, we have talked about GAP, okay? GAP. We have talked about GAP, right? The gap between knowing and doing, okay? We started with awareness, okay? And then as we started talking about awareness, the other week we started talking about get honest, right? Because you can't be honest with yourself without awareness, right? So we started talking about get honest, right? And if you miss either one of those workshops, I want you guys to know, don't worry about that, okay? We will provide a link for both of those replays in the description tonight, because I really think that if you go back to both of those replays, the awareness and then also the get honest, you will understand tonight's live. Well, I'm gonna say you're gonna understand tonight's conversation a little bit more. It will make more sense to you. You know what I'm saying? So y'all catch them replays in the link as I'm going to provide them later on tonight, right? But you guys, I want to be for those that know me, who has been on these lives, and then just the people that know me in general, you guys know that I just tend to be just very like honest with my life, I guess. And I'm starting to be more vulnerable and like open up like certain gaps that I feel as though like that just needs to be released, right? So I want to share something with you guys that is like very personal. I want to be completely honest and just, like transparent with just like, like everything. Okay. Hold on, give me one moment. Like very transparent and honest about everything. So how are we doing tonight, you guys? Before we get any further, how are we doing tonight? We doing okay? We doing good? How we doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing good, okay? I don't want to be moving too fast. If you guys feel as though like I am moving too fast, be like, Tashiana, slow it down a little bit. All right, just tell me to slow it down just a little bit. All right. But last Monday, especially for the ones that who's have been on the Dare Me I Am Me live, as you guys know, I canceled last week workshop, right? And to be honest with you guys, I don't know what was going on, but I just wasn't like feeling like myself last Monday. And I always want to come into a space of just being very uplifting and being encouraging to the next person. You know what I'm saying? Like the way you guys show up and you guys pour into me, that's exactly the same way like I want to be with you guys, right? So for almost a week, like I feel as if like I couldn't create, like I wasn't producing, I wasn't showing up the way I feel as if like I would normally do, right? And I had to sit with my emotions. And here is the most interesting part, I would say. Um I was very aware that something was off, right? Because it all, for some reason, it caught up to me. Like I was very aware of what was like going on. Like I was able to just like be very insightful. You know how like you're sitting in the seat and you're observing and there's just so much going on. You are very aware of everything that's just like happening at that moment because you're observing. And sometimes we're not so much self-aware with ourselves, right? We're self-aware with other people, but not with ourselves. But at this moment, I was very self-aware with me. Does that make sense to you guys? And there were signs where I felt as though like my energy is changing. My motivation is changing. The way I am responding to things is changing. All of the signs were there, right? And I just kept moving, right? And eventually, everything had to come to a stop, right? Because everything had finally caught up with me. So I had to do what I am encouraging you guys to do, right? So I can't tell you guys to do something and I'm not doing it, right? Just like if I tell you guys, okay, like pull out your journals, pull out your reflection worksheets, I have to do the exact same thing, be accountable, right? So I had to do exactly what I've been encouraging you guys to do. Like I had to, like I said, be accountable. I had to counsel Dear Me, I Am Me Live because like I said, I can't produce and show you guys my authentic self if I don't feel right, right? So I had to sit with myself. I had to grab my journal. I had to sit with my thoughts. I had to stop trying to push everything through, right? And just be like, you know what, like, it is okay. Like, breathe, girl, right? And for a week, I found myself like in my garden for almost a week, just sowing seeds for like almost a garden. I started off at my mailbox. I ended off like in one of my front garden beds and in my pots and all this kind of stuff or whatever. But I stopped pushing through and I had to ask myself some tough questions, right? What how am I really feeling? Right? Like as I'm in this dirt and everything, I'm asking myself, how am I really feeling? Right? Why am I feeling this way, right? And what am I trying to ignore? And in this process, I am grabbing clothes out of my closet and I am literally today. It literally took me today. I went to Goodwill and I literally donated 2 boxes of clothes, right? So I know like there's a change happening, right? There is a change happening. So I was like, what am I trying to ignore, right? This is me getting honest with myself, right? And because I felt as though like I'm sorry. This is me getting honest with myself, right? Because sometimes I feel like some of the things that we go through is just not enough, right? And I had to decide, what I was going through, it has to be nothing but truth, right? So that is exactly why I want to get into tonight's conversation, G act, right? Because we already went into awareness. We already went into get honest, right? Tonight's conversation is about act, right? Getting honest. So how we doing tonight, you guys? Can I get some mirrors in tonight's live? I want to make sure that you guys are here. You guys can hear me. Um, I want to know how you guys are doing because um, at the end of the day, one thing that I want to say is um eventually awareness leads to honesty, right? Which leads us to act, right? But otherwise, if we're not doing anything, we stay stuck, right? But if we stay stuck, um, we're going to end up waiting and we're going to end up not moving, right? So I want us to be able to stop waiting and I want us to stop moving. I mean, I want us to stop waiting and I want us to start moving. And that is exactly what ACT is about for tonight's live. All right. I want to slow it down tonight. tonight's live. Which I have tonight. I have my spearmint and dandelion tea. I needed this, y'all. Your girl is feeling bloated. It's just one of them type of things. And I just like, you know what? I need me some spearmint and dandelion tea tonight. Yes, that's what we're having. That is what we are having tonight. All right. So before we get into tonight's workshop, I want you guys to pause for a moment. I want you guys to pause for a moment. I want you guys to take a deep breath. I want you guys to, like I said earlier, grab your journals, grab your worksheets, grab your tea, and get comfortable. Girl, remove all the distractions, okay? You don't have a long day, boo. Remove all the distractions. It is okay, okay? I want you guys to check in with yourselves, not the version of yourself that you continue to show to everybody else, but this is your moment right here, okay? This is your moment. This is your moment, okay? How are we doing today mentally today? How are we doing today? And one of the things that I added to our reflection sheet is I added the mental check-in on here. All right, I added it in here. How are you feeling today from 1 to 10? So you guys can see how you're feeling. You can go back and you can reflect and you can actually see how you're feeling, right? So that way when you get to Friday, it changes. Your number changes, right? Right. So go ahead and rate yourself. How are you feeling today? I'm gonna go ahead and put mine in the chat. Okay. I'm gonna put mine in the chat. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right, there goes mine. I'm a 7 today. Normally I'm like a 8.5. Today I'm a 7. I'm getting better. Right. I'm getting better with, like I told you guys, like how I just been like feeling and stuff. But it's great feeling, it's good feeling. It's like that unknown feeling, right? But I'm a 7 today. Okay. What number would you give yourself tonight? Like I said, write it in your journal. If you want to, you can put it in the chat as well. Okay. This is about no judgment. This is not about no explaining, just honesty with yourself. Okay. Just straight up honesty. All right. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's disclaimer before I forget, because I do not want to forget. Okay. So this workshop is intended for educational, inspirational, and self-reflection purposes only. Okay. Dear Me, Iron Me is sharing the experience and perspective shared, and not a substitute for professional, medical, legal, financial advice or therapeutic advice. Okay. Take what resonates, leave room for your own journey, and most importantly, extend grace to yourself throughout tonight's conversation. All right. So, looking back, you guys, because I know some of you guys have been following along for a little minute, right? Looking back, all right. If you were here 2 weeks ago, because we missed last week, if you was here 2 weeks ago, type gap, type gap. GAP, type gap. Okay. As you guys know, we introduce the gap. All right. Type gap. And if tonight is your first workshop on Dear Me, I Am Me live, type new. So we can show some love to y'all. All right. Type new. All right. I'm going to say it again. If you was here when we introduced gap, type gap, GAP. If you are new, type new. Type new. Let your girl know. Let your girl know. So I can know who's in here. So I can know who's in here. Give me one moment while I have you guys do that, okay? Give me one moment. Wow. You guys are doing that. Give me one moment, okay? All right, so we spoke on the gap between knowing and doing, right? Like I said, I'm gonna also show you guys, I'm also add the link to the description at the bottom for knowing and doing, which explain the awareness, and then also for get honest. Okay, I'm going to make sure I put that in the description below because you guys need to see both of those replays before coming on to tonight's live. However, I know some people they watch part two before part one, and before that, just like a series or just like a TV show. It happens. I understand, right? So we talked about the knowing and the doing, right? Then we talked about getting honest, right? But because you can't change what you just won't acknowledge, right? And I hope y'all have been sitting with your journals and worksheets throughout the weeks, right? And just been going back and reflecting on each one of the worksheets and also the notes that you have been taking in your journal. Because tonight we're going to be moving on to the second letter, and that is A, act. Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat. Act, act. Act, okay? A for act, okay? So, honesty is powerful, okay? But honesty itself, I feel as though like it just won't change our lives, right? I think knowing what needs to be changed won't change your life, right? Like you just writing in a journal, and I know like some of you guys gonna be like, okay, why is she saying this? You writing in your journal won't change your life. You talking about it won't change your life. At some point, guess what we have to do? Because we already got honest, right? At some point, what we have to do, we have to move. We have to move, okay? And this is where so many of us get stuck, okay? Do you guys understand what I'm saying so far? Do you guys understand what I'm saying so far? We get stuck, okay? We get stuck not because we don't know, right? But because movement takes courage, right? And that's why I think that tonight's workshop is one of the most important one for me personally, okay? That's why I had to share you guys one of my reflection moments that I had from this past week, right? This is one of the most important ones for me, movement, right? Because I didn't just prepare this lesson, right? You know, like this was something that like I had to live with and I had to like sit with, right? And over the weekend I had opened up my phone, right? And I was studying the faith of a mustard seed, right? And I came across this story that I feel as though that made me stop and think. Let me see if I can pull it up because I want you guys to see it, right? It's on the holy, it's on the Holy Bible. Hold on. Because I want to show y'all this one right here. Hold on. Everything wants to pop up on my phone. This. I don't know if y'all can see it. This, right? Because I don't want y'all to think that I'm just making up stuff, right? So over the past weekend, I was studying the faith of a mustard seed, right? And I came across a story that really made me stop and just like think, right? It's about a man who for years woke up every morning before sunrise with nothing more than just like a hammer and an iron rod, right? And his goal was to create a road through a mountain so his village could have a better way to travel, right? So the reason why I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go back. The reason why he decided to create the mountain is because his wife had passed away because she didn't get the chance to basically be rushed to go to the doctor or go to the clinic and stuff or whatever. Like there was just this big mountain, so they had to go around it, and she ended up passing away. So he ended up deciding, okay, like I want to create this path, you know, like for my village, right? So whether you focus on the details of the story or simply the lesson behind it, here's what I feel as though like what stuck with me with this man's story. Um, like I said, he had a hammer and he had an iron rod. He went at this for 22 years. Woke up every morning to create a road through a mountain. My question to you is, can you imagine the first thing in the morning swinging a hammer and nothing changed? You swinging this hammer and nothing changed in this mountain, right? After a week, probably much didn't change either, right? After 6 months, it looks possible. Even after 5 years, imagine what the people in the village was thinking, right? Why is he still doing this? Because a lot of times that's what family and friends say to us, right? After years, why are you still doing this, right? So in this village, they asking this man, why are you still doing this, right? But he kept showing up, right? One swing after another, another swing after another. This man just kept on swinging, right? One day, one decision at a time. Then years later, there was a road that is in between this mountain, right? And when I read this story, I thought this isn't this isn't how action just works, right? This isn't just how actions work. Because to be honest, when it comes to action with a lot of people, most of us quit because we don't see immediate results. So this isn't just about action right here. Most of us we quit, right? Because everybody wants this fast-paced life, right? Want it right then and there, right? Um, we think if our first step doesn't change everything, then it wasn't worth taking, right? So I was like, okay, this isn't how action works, right? But that's not just how growth works either, right? Then my mind went back to what I was reading inside of um the Holy Bible of what Jesus had talked about the mustard seed, right? The mustard seed starts off incredibly small, right? And I know this is a little different from Dear Me, I Am Me, but this is what I'm going through, right? This is Dear Me, I Am Me, we're open up the diary, right? So the mustard seed starts off incredibly small, right? Almost insignificantly, right? Yet with time, nourishment, and consistency, it grows into something much greater than what it first appears to be, right? And I think that's the encouragement some of us need tonight, right? Don't underestimate your small yes. Right? That's what I want to get to. Don't underestimate one journal entry, right? One difficult conversation, right? One application, one boundary, one prayer, one act of obedience, right? Because as I always say, like I said the week before, small decisions create what? Big transformations. We are going to plug that in our brains. Small decisions create big transformations, right? So, the mountain isn't moved by one swing of just a hammer, right? It was moved by that gentleman showing up again and again and again and again and again, right? So what I want to get into is, can I ask you guys something? Is it okay if I ask y'all something tonight? All right. Relating back to that mountain, right, and him swinging, how many times have you talked yourself out of something you knew that you needed to do? Not because you couldn't, But because you overthought about it, right? You was indecisive about it, right? Because you waited, right? Um, because fear convinced you that tomorrow was better than today, right? But to be truthful, how did you know you was going to make it to today? How did you know? Right? So I don't know who needs to hear this, but tomorrow has been stealing from some of us for years, right? Um, first journal entry. All right, first journal entry. Write this down. Like I said, if I'm getting too personal, you can just, hey, I can't, I don't even know what to tell you, but I like to speak just being transparent, right? Just with feelings, right? So complete this sentence with me. Write this down. I've been putting off blank because blank. I've been putting off blank because blank. I have it on this worksheet as well. If you guys download it, I have it on here too. That way you guys don't have to write it out. You can just answer it, okay? Like I said, it is in the chat. I believe I put it in the chat. I'll put it up there again for you guys for tonight before we end, right? I've been putting off blank because blank. Put that down for a second. All right. Now write this down. What decisions have I been postponing and what has it cost me? What decisions have I been postponing and what has it cost me? Give me 1 second, you guys. My baby Bella is barking. Give me a second. What decision have I been postponing and what has it cost me? What has it cost me? What has it cost me? Okay. Not, don't put, some people, they just put finances, right? That's a lot of people's, like circumstances, right? But not just financially, right? Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, relationship wise. What have been costing you? Write that down. Okay? Write that down. How are we doing tonight, you guys? How are we doing tonight? How are we doing tonight? I'm speaking to this into life. I cannot wait to be live, to be doing this live in person. Okay. We're going to go ahead and talk about this in person. I am super happy about that. We're visualizing, we're manifesting, right? All right. So here's something I had to realize, right? Every time, like I delayed something that I knew that I needed to do, I wasn't protecting myself, right? I was postponing the life that I said that I wanted, right? And that hit me because sometimes we think that waiting is wisdom, right? Sometimes it's not that. It's 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 fear of shame. That's exactly what it is. And action doesn't always look like that, right? So, can we change the way we think about action for a second? What may work for one person may not work for the next person, right? And that is something that I definitely planted in my head. Just because it worked for this person this way does not mean it's going to work for me like that, right? And it's vice versa to you guys as well, right? Hold on. And it's vice versa to you guys as well, right? So like when we hear the word action, um our minds go to something huge when we hear the word like action, right? Right? We start the business, right? We move across the country, right? We write the book, right? We lose the 100 pounds, right? But what if action looks much smaller than that, right? Than those big steps, right? What if action is way much smaller than that, right? What if action was, let's go back to that mustard seed, right? And the guy on that hammer, one by swinging one by one, right? What if action was sending that email, right? What if action was making that doctor's appointment, right? Reading one chapter, right? Praying before reacting, right? Going for a walk, right? Drinking the water, right? Resting and also saying no. What if that is what our action is supposed to look like now, right? Because before that mustard seed has to continue to grow, right? And it's being watered, right? Those habits that you built end up being what? Consistency, right? And that consistency turn into discipline, right? So how are we willing to move on to the next step, right? If we're not constantly sending out that email when we're supposed to, right? If we're not making that doctor's appointment when we're supposed to, if we're not constantly reading one chapter after another every single day, right? If we're not praying before reacting, right? Some of us react before we pray, right? Going for that walk when you're supposed to go for that walk, resting when your body's supposed to be resting. You know, you're saying no, but you're saying yes. Right. So what if action looked much more smaller to us than what we actually are trying to do, right? Because sometimes the smaller decision is the one that changed everything, right? It's not that big, huge step, right? So give me some areas if you guys are understanding what I'm saying, right? Give me some mirrors, okay? Give me some mirrors in the chat, right? All right, so let's move on to the next. Thank you, babe. Let's move on to the next finished sentence, right? Write this down. I really want you guys to write this down. This is very, very important, right? This is very, very important. Where is it at on here? Where is it on here? Hold on. Where is it at on here? It's right here on the sheet, right? Write this down. The future version of me is waiting for me to dot dot dot. The future me is waiting for me to dot dot dot. One of the things that I do when it comes to a statement like this, if I don't have my journal or if I don't have my worksheet, I will write it on a notepad and I would stick it somewhere in a space where every time I go to that space, it's like right there in my face. It's right there in my face. Y'all, if I can show y'all one of like my back doors, one of my back doors that's actually in this room, I have nothing but sticky tabs right there. Why? Because every time I close that door, guess what? I have to go out that door, right? But before I go out that door, guess what I have to look at? That notepad. The sticky note every single time. Here, I got one on this table. Be more decisive. Okay. Like, so write it down somewhere where you can see it. Don't just write it down and just walk away from it. No, the future me of me is waiting for me to boom, put it somewhere where you can see. We're not just thinking about like just the future self, right? Because the present you have to prepare the future you, right? So what is the person that you are today, what are you doing for that tomorrow? Remember that them small steps, right? You got to be consistent because you can't be skipping steps, sis. We not doing it, right? So can I tell y'all something? We celebrate big milestones, right? We put we celebrate big milestones. All right. But our higher power also see the smallest act of obedience as well. right? This is, like I said, this is the things that I had to go through like this past week, and I had to break it down. I had to get some things off my chest, right? But I higher power always also sees the small acts of obedience, right? Don't overlook your beginning because it don't look impressive yet. Don't overlook your beginning because it does not look impressive yet. And this might step on a few toes because before I give this to y'all, I have to deal with this, okay? Because I'm looking at myself in the mirror as well. I'm not telling you guys just to drop the mirror, just to drop the mirrors, okay? Right? This is about like taking out that cape and shedding what no longer belongs to us, okay? So this might step on a few toes. Who are you waiting on? Really? Who are you waiting on? Who permission do you feel like you need? Is it family? Is it friends? Is it colleagues? Is it people who haven't even supported you? Because sometimes the only person that holding us back is a version of us that still needs everyone else's approval, right? And listen, you don't need nobody else's approval, right? Become who God is calling you to be. There's only one relationship, and that's you and God. That's it, right? Everything else is extra, right? And like I said, I know I'm going to be stepping on a few toes, right? But I believe in my higher power, right? So write this down, okay? Write this down. Yes, boo. Anytime. Anytime. Anytime, girl. All right, so write this down, okay? Who am I becoming because of the choices I keep making? Who am I becoming because of the choices I keep making? Today when I woke up, Today when I woke up, you guys already know I have been heavy on the 5 a.m. club. This is a book that we went over last year, but this is a book that I have been installing in my brain. So in the book, the guy was speaking on the guy was basically speaking to his mentees, right? He's the mentor. He was speaking to his mentees about who are they becoming, right? And they was more so talking about who they was becoming in the 5 a.m. club for tomorrow. And he was like, okay, you're talking about tomorrow, but I'm talking about right now, right? What choices are you making right now that is going to help you, that's going to prepare you for your future, right? Right. So let me come back to what I had to say, right? So then like underneath underneath that question that you just wrote, right? Underneath that question that you just wrote, who am I becoming because of the choices I keep making to myself? Right underneath that, write this down. Who do I want to become? Who do I want to become? Who do I want to become? The person that you want to become, you should be making actionable decisions on that person you want to become because she does not just show up. She does not wake up out that bed and she's her right then and there. She had to prepare. What do she look like? How do she feel? What do she eat? Where do she hang out? Who do you want to become? Right? We have to manifest this, sis. Right? We have to believe, right? Now, compare the two answers, right? Compare the two answers. Okay? Do your daily actions match the woman you're trying to become? And if not, why are you mad? This is the Dear Diary. I said I'm going to step on some few toes. And I'm not just saying this to y'all, I'm saying this to me. I can't be mad at something that I know I'm not doing. Right? So I want to leave y'all with this. The life that you've been praying for is built by the decisions that you are making today, not someday, not when you feel more confident, not when you have more money, not when everything is perfect. Today. Because every decision is casting a vote to every yes, to every no, to every prayer, to every boundary, to every act of obedience that you are making, right? You're becoming someone. Now, the question is, are your actions, write this down. You can write this down as well, or you can just catch this on the replay. Are your actions introducing you to the woman that you have been praying to become right now? Because if not, check on them candles behind me. Because if not, I hope that tonight helped change that. Okay. Not because you have changed everything, not because you have changed one thing, but because you know in the bottom of your heart, you're going to start believing. Small decisions create big what? Transformations. Okay. All right. So before we go, I want you guys to repeat this with me. Okay. Repeat this with me. Dear me, dear me, that's what I'm talking about, sis. That's what I'm talking about. Get out that head, girl. Get out that head. Dear me, thank you for choosing honesty. Thank you for choosing courage. Thank you for taking one step, even if that step is small. I may not have everything figured out, but I don't have to because today I choose to move. All right. And that is enough for today. All right. So before we close out tonight's live, if tonight's conversation has encouraged you, I want you guys to continue this journey with us. All right. Join the Dear Me, I Me community where we are going to go deeper than each live. Okay. We are going to go deeper and deeper and deeper on each live, right? With guided worksheets, with midweek check ins, with journal prompts, with honest conversation designed to help you to apply what we have been learning together. Okay. We'll meet again on Wednesday. Inside the community, we dive deeper into the questions that was not on tonight's live, and we're going to check in on the actions that we are going to continue to commit to each night, right? We have to celebrate the small wins and encourage one another to just continue to keep moving, right? That is what is needed, right? So if you are going to be catching the replay, let us know in the comments. We are beyond grateful. Thank you for everyone that also showed up tonight and tonight's live. One more. What's one action you're committing to this week? I know y'all didn't expect that. Just give me one. One action. One action that you can commit, you're going to commit to this week. It might not be today. It might not be tomorrow. But guess what? You got Wednesday, you got Thursday, you got Friday, you got Saturday. We ain't gonna count Sunday because that starts a new week, right? Wait, Sunday to Saturday? Yeah. So You got one action. You only got one. Only one. All right. So I want to say I love you guys. Come back. Continue to cheer everyone on. And if this workshop has blessed you, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share it with somebody else that you know who have needed this conversation as well. So until next time, beauties, keep growing, keep showing up, keep choosing yourself, because every small decision is shaping the woman that you are becoming. Peace, love, and laughs. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining tonight's live.